Off mute. It's Friday night, 7:30, and you're seated at the Whiskey Round Table with
Big G.
Bourbon Bob
And Jake Sanders. I'm with Crowned Heads.
and Oz Family
And
Cigars.
Oz Family Cigars.
Yes,
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
yes.
What's up, dog?
How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you been?
Good, good. Thank you for having me back. The first time was great. Very, I think, informative for everybody.
It really was.
So- So I hope we can do another one.
Sure.
Well, you always teach me something when I run into you over at Royal Havana. You know, learn how to cut a cigar the right way, learn how to light a cigar the right way, learn how to touch up a cigar the right way. So
It may not be the right way, but
But-
I mean, it's ways that, can make your experience better.
and you've made those experiences a lot better by those little tips and tricks that you've given me. So we've got a full house out here tonight here too. We got Cheese, the Rev up north.
Woo!
And Ralphie's joining us.
Yay!
You said cream cheese?
Yeah, no, I said cheese guy. I said cheese. I didn't call him cheesecake.
Cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
Very
Just
good.
for you, Goran.
Well, I got half of it.
Yeah. The other one. Yeah.
Ziggy zuggy, ziggy zuggy. Oi, oi, oi.
The what? The other one.
Oh, my God.
oh,
How was
good
everybody's week today, man?
The week today was long.
The week today.
The week today.
No, it's been a long week, but
Yeah.
my kids got me a Father's Day present. I'm just gonna show this real quick. They got my first ink.
There you go.
Nice.
So I mean, it's for my dad and my mom. So mom's
What's
still
that-
here.
what's that say?
It says
Enter beer?
no, it's big guy in a rose for my mom. So
Yeah.
So why your left arm? Why
because it's
the-
closest to the heart.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I knew there was a reason. That's what
Yep.
I want to ask.
Closest to the heart on that one.
I
So,
like that. I like that.
Yeah. So it was a real nice job, Sean, up at Cardinal Ink in Menor. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I will be seeing you more often. I'm glad I waited till I was in my late 50s to get my tattoo, or I'd probably have full sleeves by now because it was such a relaxing
Nice.
experience.
Is
So
that right on the main road?
it's right in the mall.
Oh, it's in the mall.
It's in the
Yeah,
mall.
Yeah, I know
It's
exactly what it is.
right next to Spencer's Gift. If you remember hanging
yes,
out
it
at
is.
Spencer's
Yes,
in
it
high
is.
school,
Yeah.
Spencer's. Good Lord.
everybody hanging out in that little dirty section.
Yeah.
Did you pick up a Day Glove poster?
Yeah.
Funny you should mention that. My whole room, you couldn't see any of the walls. I had blacklight posters on
Oh, yeah.
every single wall.
Oh, my gosh.
Every single inch, and I even had like 5 or 6 of them on the ceiling that were just psychedelic.
I think my generation was like the last generation
They
to
had black lights.
experience Spencer's.
Yeah, it's a dying show. It's a dying store, but it's always.
I don't even
fun.
know if are they still around?
Just
There's
the one over at Menor Mall
Yeah.
that I know of.
Wow. That's the only one that I've even heard of.
Yeah, so.
Unbelievable.
Very good.
A lot of Friday nights in that store.
Degenerates just hanging around the mall.
Yep. Are you gonna buy anything? No, just
no.
looking.
We're just looking for something to fuck up. That's all.
Go to the food court and eat from 3 different food stands.
Look at the Farrah Fawcett and Cheryl Ladd posters.
Oh, yeah.
I still have them. I still have my posters. Yes,
Very good.
the classic Farrah in her
Red bathing suit.
red bathing suit in the pose behind that Spanish or Mexican rug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was there a rug in that picture?
If I remember, it was very cold in that studio though.
Too funny.
Anyway,
All right.
so I know you have you wanted to talk about some good stuff today.
Well, if you want to go over it, we can.
I mean, we'll just dive right into the cigars because I mean, I'm smoking your
The Mil Diaz.
the mill. Oh, this is
Yep. That's
this
what
is
we
a
talked
great
about last
go-to
time.
one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
for
that
sure.
one.
Yeah, that's a 4-country blend, Mil Diaz again, by Crowned Heads and Oz Family Cigars. Mil Diaz has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, has a Nicaraguan binder, and then it has Costa Rican, Peruvian, and Nicaraguan fillers. So that's the 4-country makeup of that. I love that cigar. I think it's like our bread and butter. It doubled the company in size when it came out in 2020. So it kind of stands to the blend and what it's done for Crowned Heads. And it's mild to medium, in my opinion. Just cedary, creamy, nutty, great nuance. I really enjoy giving that cigar to people that don't normally smoke Crowned Head cigars,
Right.
or smoke cigars, rather. And everybody, it doesn't matter if you're a novice or experienced smoker, everybody loves that cigar just because it's an easy, clean smoke that enhances anything that you're drinking with it or whatever experience that you're trying to have.
You know, this would be a good one to try those rums that Dave had.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a
it comes
natural
from-
sweetness.
Because it comes from 4 countries too, and Dave did 4 countries with his
Correct.
rum, so we'll have to see which ones he did that these come from. And
Yeah. Now the one that I did feature, for the viewers that you can see, is our J.D. Howard. I just got this box from our warehouse. We had a couple in our warehouse that we've kept, and it is discontinued. So unfortunately, but it's a beautiful. It was our 3rd cigar that we ever came out with. So going from our first episode together, I kind of talked about the creation of Crowned Heads and where it started from. But just to kind of go back to that, we're based out of Nashville, Tennessee. We have been around since 2011. That's when we first was created by Mike Conder, John Huber, and now we can say Tim Osgener was a part of that as well. Tim's father created CAO. His initials were CAO. So that's why if you're a cigar guy or a lady and you're familiar with CAO, that's why it's named that way. It was Jeannot's, his father's initials. But J.D. Howard was our 3rd edition that we came out with. It was 4 kicks, Headley Grange and J.D. Howard. Both, or all 3 of them had something to do with Nashville. They were Nashville oriented. If you're not familiar, J.D. Howard comes from Jesse James. His alias's name was Howard J.D. Howard.
cool.
In his stint that he lived in Nashville, Tennessee for a little bit. So that's kind of where that name comes from. But cool part about this cigar, besides the name and the beautiful kind of cream and burgundy band, is that it has a Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper, beautiful dark Maduro wrapper on there that you just don't see that wrapper anymore. Brazil does not produce a lot of tobacco anymore, but this was a blend that kind of started the Brasilia movement in the early 2000s of CAO. So, and I know a lot of people, even though it's before my time because I'm still a little younger, that
What are you, 60?
yeah, 29, but
I remember 29.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I know I'm a little younger, but I'm in an older setting, and I'm an old soul anyways because of my parents. But the J.D. Howard, I think, is fantastic, and it kind of pays an homage to the original Brasilia,
Nice.
that CAO had done. And if, you can talk to a lot of people that first started smoking cigars, the Brasilia was like the gateway drug for a lot of people into the cigar industry, so it just kind of, it stands the test of time. This was made at Ernesto Perez Carrillo's factory in the Dominican Republic. Ernesto, we have a great relationship with. Some people call him the godfather of tobacco. He's multi-generational in the tobacco industry, with his farms and his fields, and along with his factory that we use. So he does about 50% of our portfolio. So obviously we entrust in him with most of our products. So
Now, you say CAO. Are you guys still involved in the CAO?
no.
That sold
CAO
off
was sold in 2007. There was a non-compete.
Okay.
Tim stayed on with CAO until about 2010. That was when his father was still alive. And then Mike, John, and even our CFO, Adam, all came from CAO.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because that's another cigar that I go to is the CAOs. I like their flatheads. and-
Yeah.
And the Soprano series.
Yeah, and the Soprano series was actually Tim's idea back in the day, which was very cool. If you follow him on Instagram, it's just at Tim Osgener.
Right.
Tim shows some of the old blends and the old half wheels, if you will, and the bundles of cigars from when he created those cigars. And so his dad made this beautiful humidor in their house. And he gets to, Tim kind of does a history lesson on, their old cigars.
Nice.
And he breaks open these boxes that haven't seen the light of day since, early 2000s.
So
they're-
like me, then.
well, yeah. Yeah.
So when you have that many cigars like that, I
Yeah.
mean, what kind of humidor would you have at home? Would you have a bunch of little ones, or would you have a
Me?
room dedicated? Because I know you have a lot of cigars. So
I mean,
how do
if
you
I
keep
need a
them-
room.
well, I mean, how do you keep them fresh.
I mean, if you,
because I know it's like almost like watching a fish tank. You got to constantly monitor the humidity in them.
yeah, I mean, people try to make it a little more complicated than what it needs to be. I mean, I know a ton of people that have been aging cigars in just airtight Tupperware bins. You know, as long as you have an airtight seal or box or, you know, whatever kind of storage container, you know, per se. As long as it's airtight, and now with the technology of Bovida, the Bovida packs, the humidifying packs, I mean, if you throw one of those in there, or you throw two, and you have a big, like, 5-gallon, you know, Tupperware box that's airtight and there's a seal on it, you can throw two of those in there and just check it every couple months, and if they're dry, throw more in. You know, it's like, it's not that... some people talk about, you know, there's got to be airflow. You know, you see these cooladors that are humidors nowadays that they work well, but you know, you still got to watch that too, because you don't want a constant breeze. Some people say that cigars, you know, get stale if there's not a, you know, an air movement or whatever. But
I've had people say, oh, you know, you gotta open those boxes, otherwise, you know, it loses its, you know.
I don't think
flavor.
so.
I don't believe that.
I mean, cigars will naturally mellow out the farther that they're aged. And cigars do have a shelf life. I didn't understand that until somebody gave me a 20-year-old cigar and it was completely flat. You know, so like the cigars that will stand the test of time are normally the Maduro, the stronger Maduros that were really, really strong to begin with whenever they were produced. You know, so that will mellow out and those will probably keep. But if you have a mild cigar or something that's mild to medium, you know, if that's sitting in a Tupperware bin for 20 years, it probably is going to be pretty flat when you open that up and try to, you know, experience that again, which is sad because you've obviously, you know, been, you know,
Waiting for a good,
yeah, you've been waiting a good time, and you had a day that you had in mind, and you want to celebrate, and then you open this box and they're flat. You know, it's like wine. You know, so
or bourbon.
or bourbon, yeah. Well, yeah,
but you just want to keep them open, and you want to open them and share them. That's the thing.
I mean, I feel like it's a little different than bourbon because you could have a bottle that's open, you know, for 10 years and like, yeah, it'll mellow out, but it's not going to, as long as oxygen doesn't get to it and it doesn't get murky, it's not going to be, you know.
And one last question on the storage of cigars.
Yeah.
For me. And this one is for you, Tiffany, because I know you do this. What about putting it in airtight Tupperware and putting it in your freezer?
No.
See, I told you.
No, I mean,
The worst thing you can do is put it in the freezer.
well, people say to put them in, like if you buy like a box of Cubans or a box of cigars, like people say to put them in the freezer, like once you get them from, like if they just came from the factory,
Right.
because, you know, let's face it, like these do come from a third world country. There's naturally bugs and everything down there.
They'll eat all through that.
Yeah, so like you know that freezer will kill them, but I mean, I don't know.
Not long-term storage.
No, like we don't. When we get our boxes that are shipped to our warehouse in Nashville from the factories, it's not like we stick them in a giant freezer. But I will say, Ernesto, when he's producing the cigars for us, he will put them in a large, very cold room first, and then shock the tobacco, and then put them in a large humidor.
Nice.
Yeah, so a humidified room.
Right.
So,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so yes and no is the answer to that.
Short-term storage.
Short-term storage, not long-term at all.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
That I needed to know. That was another bit of knowledge that he dropped on us, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because proper humidification and storage of cigars is important.
Yeah. Very good.
Very good.
Hey, did anybody light up the J.D. Howard? Everybody?
I thought we were going to...
I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I can, too.
I just want to see what you guys think of it. Obviously, the second cigar we have is the Oz family cigar, Fırsat, which is Turkish for opportunity. If you notice the tealish, almost rustic copper
Yes.
color, it comes from the Statue of Liberty because that's where Tim's parents met. It was in New York.
Oh, how cool.
So that's kind of an homage to them as well. So, and Tim's mother was Turkish, so that's why it's Fırsat.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
If we get to your facility down in Nashville, are there tours?
There are not tours.
Okay.
It is just it's if you can imagine a basic warehouse with a bunch of boxes, that's humidified in a giant room. The whole warehouse is humidified. There's humidifiers everywhere. But it's just a basic warehouse. But if you guys want to, go down, if you are there, let me know. Give me some heads up. And if John isn't busy, he always likes seeing people come by.
So
So
when we're watching those YouTube videos and it's just those steel shelves with cigars on
Yeah.
that's it?
that's it.
Nice.
That's it. There's that and an office and a couple different rooms for our CFO Adam and John. And there's a couple desks. And it's funny because if you look at John's desk, it's actually it's not like a bunch of boxes that we've already produced. It's all these bundles with like codes on them because he's always working on the next
Nice.
project. So he's constantly smoking different stuff, finding out different sizes, tweaking blends with Ernesto or the other 3 factories that we use. So it's pretty cool experience. I mean, I love talking to John. He's great, great person.
And you're talking about your research. You allowed me to have that Belgian blue. I'm going to get the name right one of these days.
Yeah, the Belgian Blue. Yeah, so it should be shipping next week to retailers. So like when this comes out, this episode, well, it's live now, but if you're listening to it now, it will come out next week, and it should be really good. That's a great blend. It's Mexican San Andreas. It's a little stronger. The filler leaves are 75% Ligero, so that's the top priming of the plant, where it gets the most nutrients. So it's going to be stronger when it's fermented, and it's going to be darker and richer. So it's a strong cigar, but I think it's very well balanced.
It is. I mean, when I had that, it was a good smoke all the way through. And I don't know if you smoked that one or not yet.
Yeah.
Where is it from?
No, the Belgian blue.
I don't think I have
But
it.
that was
It was that
nice.
box press that I gave you
Yeah,
a couple
yeah,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
That was the other reason why I
Yes,
liked
yes,
it was
yes,
the box
yes.
press.
Yeah.
'Cause-
That was a very good cigar.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't smoke a ton of strong cigars. I mean, we don't make
Yeah.
anything that's the only cigar that we make that's super, super strong that people love, and I do love it, but sometimes it just knocks me over my head is La Imperiosa. So, and that was to commemorate our first Las Calaveras, which is a different blend that we do, and it's a limited edition every year. So, and that was the first, we say it's the first blend that we did. So that's why we kept it as a main core line.
And again, I remember you said that you guys don't do a whole lot of promotions and a lot of stuff like that. So
Yeah, we don't use, it's not, we're not putting ads in Cigar Aficionado magazines and, Cigar Journal and stuff. We still believe that, me handing a cigar to you, our cigars are tag, so our tagline, it creates a rapport and an experience because I can hand cigars to you guys or, everybody else out in your, crowd here. And it creates an experience with us,
Right.
And that's what we believe. So that's where we put our marketing dollars into is sample cigars.
and Joris, how you doing, Joris?
Joris.
Joris wants to know if the reason for Belgian blue on that was that because of the tobacco blends.
The name,
Yes.
so Belgian Blue is kind of a fun story, but so it comes from the Belgian Blue Bowl.
Because Joris is from Belgium, that's why he's
Oh,
asking.
okay. Yeah. So it comes from the Belgian Blue Bull. So if you think of the bull, it's very strong and very muscular, and that's kind of the idea behind the name because it is a very strong cigar, but it's well balanced. It's not very toothy as far as the wrapper leaf, and what I mean by that is the texture. Because if you look at this J.D. Howard, it's a very toothy leaf, and the Belgian Blue is very soft and smooth, kind of like the Belgian Blue,
Right.
but it's very strong.
Toothy.
Yeah, toothy,
Veiny.
Veiny.
veiny. Yeah. I was trying to get away from that and not sound
I knew what you were
like
talking
a
about.
12-year-old, but
We're all 12-year-olds at heart.
yeah. So yeah.
Are they available internationally?
We do. I don't know exactly what countries we are in, but we are worldwide. You can probably buy them through a number of our distributors that we distribute to. If you do want to buy something, I would say buy through Atlantic. If you do want to buy online, but I would always urge everybody and anybody to always support your local tobacconist, and because the brick and mortars are what built the cigar industry. But if you must, I would say go to Atlantic. They have great pricing and they buy from me, so it supports me. So as a shameless plug there.
No, this is what this is about. That's
Yeah.
exactly about.
Or
it.
Secret Cigar Vault
They're
up
out
in
there-
Michigan.
they're out there pushing it, man.
Yeah, Secret Cigar Vault up in Michigan does online sales. Ronnie does some really good deals too. So, and those are a couple of my bigger accounts. So I always want to support them. And Ronnie has a brick and mortar store, so that's more and more important as well.
Does George get all the info?
Yeah, I hope he did. George,
There's a lot of
Come
info.
on,
but-
George.
George, if you got it, let us know.
Yeah, so he lives in Belgium. And
Yes.
Belgium.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, we are international now.
There you go.
He gets, because of the hour difference, he gets up and
Yeah.
to watch the show, which is
Yeah, so it's morning over there
Yeah.
right now. Very cool. Very cool.
All right, but you mentioned ask your tobaccoist about what would they go in there and say? Hey, can you get Oz Family and Crowned Heads? Or,
Yeah, if you don't have any crowned heads, or if you go into your local tobacconist and ask if you do have if they have crowned heads or Oz Family cigars, and that if they don't, definitely ask them to get them, and that's
Okay.
that helps our reps wherever you
Right,
are,
sure.
because once, at least that's what I've noticed. I was in retail before being a cigar rep, and I didn't operate that way. I bought the stuff that I liked and I knew that would sell and that I could sell. But unfortunately, some of our retailers, I may get in trouble for this, but some of our retailers are, lack of a better term, lazy. So
they're not enthusiasts about their products. A lot
well,
of them.
they just they look at the big brands,
Right.
which is fine. It's the same pie, but there's so many great brands out there that nobody knows just because nobody knows,
Yeah.
right? So like, and just because you want to sit there and not sell, crowned heads, which is that's your prerogative, but somebody else might want it, and you need to bring in stuff that that you can sell, but you don't open up a retail store not to sell things, right? So why wouldn't you take the effort to sell cigars?
Right.
And I guess I kind of danced around that a little bit. Basically,
No, you did good.
What I'm trying to say is that
Always-
work.
Well,
Just-
right, and I understand that, and you know what, and there's back in the day, I liked one cigar. As
Yeah.
time has gone on, there's all these other great cigars.
Yep.
And, and if you don't try these different cigars, you're really missing out on potentially some really great cigars.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I'm kind of, and I'll change my tune a little bit. Is that, without that, I wouldn't have a job. So like, it's my job to get out there. Like, if you guys didn't know me, would you smoke crowned heads? I don't know.
I don't know.
You might, you may not.
Right.
But knowing me probably makes you feel a little better about smoking crowned heads, and you get to enjoy it a little more. It's like when you go down to a distillery, like not everybody drinks Maker's Mark or Jack Daniels, but when you go down to those distilleries, the whiskey sure tastes a hell of a lot better there than it does if you buy it at the fucking liquor store and you're sitting in your, house just drinking it, so.
I hear you.
And that is true. I mean, it really does.
Because
So-
that's the problem I have is, still being new at this hobby, and I call it a hobby because that's exactly the way I treat it.
Yeah.
With all the different labels out there, knowing who's putting what out. That's the kind
Yes.
of difficulty that I have is because, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't know which ones were
Yeah.
the Crown Heads or the Oz Families.
Well, and it's just, not everybody has like a massive humidor that's, 4,000 square feet or
Right.
whatever. So, and there's so many different brands out there that are great, that are great cigars. But it's, I think it's kind of dying down anymore, but the age old adage was that what's new? That was the question that you would
Right.
hear a lot in the retail stores and the brick and mortars, that, what do you have that's new? And so a lot of the companies, the shows and the big conventions, you every company may come out with one cigar, a year, and that was kind of the old way of doing things. Now companies are coming out with 4, 5, 6, 7 different cigars at one show a year, and then plus they're coming out with cigars outside of those shows as well. So you're talking about a brand, any cigar brand now that you may see a brand come out with 8 cigars in that year, and not everybody, like I said, has a massive humidor to keep up with all those different brands coming out with all those different cigars. Not to mention keeping up with your bread and butter cigars that, keep the lights on.
We always do, Royal Van always does, and Dave's very good about that, is they'll say, hey, we just got this cigar in or this or that, da-da-da, try one of these,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, I was smoking your brand cigars with Dave,
Yeah.
and he said, you gotta try these cigars, they're really good cigars.
Yeah.
And I was smoking those cigars, which I'm still smoking them.
Well, and that's what makes him a good retailer.
Right.
You know, that's what he's supposed to do.
Sure.
You know, and if we could get all the retailers to get on board with that, then it'd make my job a hell of a lot easier. But that's besides the point.
All right,
So let's digress.
all right.
Yeah.
We're a whiskey show.
Woo!
What do we got on the scroll?
Well, we had Joris and Rebecca on there,
All right, kids.
so we were addressing them.
All right.
But so we figured we would do a bottle this week that has been having a lot of talk and chatter about.
Yes, it does.
It's the Dark Arts. It was released 2 weeks ago in Ohio, and it seems to be flying off of the shelves everywhere. We found this quite literally by accident. We were at a friend's house. Stephen Crooks brought this bottle out. A young distillery,
Cleveland Bourbon Co-op,
Cleveland
Nice.
Bourbon Co-op,
one of our
and
sponsors.
you know, we all fell in love with this bottle. And it wasn't even in Ohio yet, so we were kind of drinking it before it was in Ohio. But it's just an amazing product, and
Sorry, I'm just sharing.
oh, you're fine. You do what you got to do. Let's see, we have some general rented teeth and false
Get
lips.
your merge wicks?
Yeah. I got my mixed words. Yeah. So general information about the Dark Arts. Dark Arts is a blending and rebarreling and finishing house. They're located in downtown Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. You can tell by the label that there's some like tarot cards and Dark Arts in the name, which is actually really kind of cool.
It's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, it's a
It is.
gorgeous bottle.
It's almost got that like glass decanter kind of topper there.
Almost like a crystal.
Is it a cork?
It's a rubber cork.
It's a rubber cork. Okay.
They said it's inspired by the alchemists of old and their master blenders that wield underutilized maturation and blending techniques to transform wood, fire, grain, and water into the liquid gold.
So are they like buying barrels and just blending them? Is
Yes.
that what? Okay.
That is the general gist of it right now.
Do we know where they're getting their barrels from?
Right now, I don't know.
No.
That is not on there, but I'm sure they source it from multiple places.
They do. And you know what? I when I was down there, sampling some of that stuff, they did tell us, but I don't remember what.
This
it
is
was.
not what you picked. This is their normal stuff.
Well, it was just testing, so to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Not yet.
Oh.
There are a lot of big things coming out.
Yeah, a lot of big things
whoops.
going on.
No,
Sorry.
that's all right.
That's
That's all right.
He kind of gave me a look. I was like, "Fuck."
We've been teasing some stuff that there's big things coming out with the Dark Arts
Okay.
and stuff like that. But they also use equal parts of the mastery and belief of the unknown, and produce high quality ingredients to create custom blends and age them in unconventional barrels to craft unique whiskeys.
Nice.
So we're going to throw this up here. They have Karen did some great research for us and brought up this 7 stages of alchemy that they use to go through and do all this. The stage 1 is what they chop and grow with some of the best grains they possibly can get. Then there's the fermentation and distillation processes. The maturation.
So they are distilling their own product too.
From what I'm reading, they possibly could be.
Yeah. If they're talking about grain, I would assume.
I would assume. But they have all the symbols around the logo is all these things that are being highlighted right now.
Got it.
The stage 4 is the maturation. They use the symbol for alchemy for the wood that represents the barrels in the whiskey that it's matured in. The stage 5 is the finishing of the barrels. They have all the different tarot card symbols on there, which is really kind of cool. I think that was a great marketing thing to get into. Stage 6, which is the blending, and then stage 7, which is the bottling.
Nice.
So all the 7 symbols are represented in the top 2 legs of the triangle, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So just a little little background on their
now
stuff
we're,
on that.
Now we're worshiping the devil.
I don't think it's a worshiping of the devil type of thing,
I'm
but
just
it's
I'm messing around.
but I mean, dark arts, and it's just another one of those things. That's a cool history, cool story that goes along with that. So
It looks good. I like it. I tuned in. Yeah.
you tuned in to tarot cards.
So, we're gonna get into this, or?
Yeah.
Why not? I think we should, because
Is that
it's
what-
only evaporating in the glasses right now, and I don't like it when it's evaporating. So let's get into the nose on this one here. And again, we had Karen do some research on there. I did not read the nose and tasting notes on here because I like to taste these blind. Unfortunately, we've had this one before, and I know I like it.
Yeah. I think when I first tried it, it definitely had like a big malty, like malted barley flavor profile on the ending. So I don't know exactly what this blend is, but
What's the proof?
The proof on this
I
one,
think it's,
108.
yeah, 108.
yeah,
Smells pretty
Yeah.
big in the nose.
yeah,
The specifics on this bottle here,
7 years.
while you guys are nosing on this one,
Yeah.
Nose is big.
the nose is big. That's a personal problem that we.
I think it's more soft in the nose. Than,
Yeah, I do too.
This is while experimenting with the wood for their barrels, one forest stood out from the rest of them, and I'm going to butcher the name, but it looks like juleps.
Juniper?
Juniper.
Juleps.
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 Yes, it's a forest that is known for its tight-grained oak trees. So that would say have some a lot of flavor notes in there if it's real tight grained.
I think for 108 proof, it's very soft.
It is very soft.
Did you taste it already?
Yeah.
No, we're not tasting it.
I've been drinking it. What do you mean? Am I not supposed to do that?
Yeah. Winemakers in France have been using and curating the Juleps oak for centuries.
Jalapagus.
Jalapagus, yes.
Whatever the fuck.
French oak paired with high rye bourbon gives us a unique taste with layers of complexity. That I cannot disagree with, because I know this one, it hits you with all kinds of different things on it when you nose it and taste it.
It's very like caramel, cinnamon
Yeah.
on the nose. There is kind of a grain nose, like just grain. Like dustiness. Do you get that? Kind of like old style whiskey.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And they use 3-barrel small batch blends that are aged between 6 and 8 years
Yeah.
for this. Oh, here it goes. Originally distilled in Indiana. So
MGP.
we know there's several places in Indiana, the one big one. Then it's finished, blended, and bottled in Lexington. This bottle is 108 proof, as we had said before.
So it's finished in that wood.
It's finished in there are different types of woods from that forest.
Interesting.
Yeah. The mash bill on this one is 60% corn, 36% rye, which is a high rye
That's a high
content,
rye, yeah.
and 4% malted barley. So
Yeah, that's their high rye mash bill.
right, and that's one of the nice ones. I like the higher ryes on these. As we've been drinking some of the higher proofs lately with the higher ryes, I like that.
Well, it adds a little more spiciness to it, but it's not enough to where it's like hot.
Yeah, it's not off-putting, no.
No. So
All right, so what do we got on the nose here, kids?
You know, I'm struggling with it because I was tasting the cigar and putting the smoke through my nose because I was trying to.
you doing retrohaling over there?
Screwed up my
Yeah.
whole palate.
Nah,
so I'm
sorry.
trying to no. It is what it is. So I'm.
I'd say a lot of cinnamon.
When I opened it, I got cinnamon out of the bottle.
Yeah.
When I was pouring.
Do you still get it in the glass?
So I don't. I can't. Even,
Oh, you're all fucked
I'm
up.
all messed up.
Let's go out to the audience. What you got?
You guys said it was mellow. I got a lot of ethyl in the beginning.
get any
I kind
ethyl.
of got
Little to
I
none.
was kind of hoping that
Yeah.
was going to
I got
clean
got.
me
Well,
up.
we're
It's
professionals,
got-
you know, you don't get
the
it.
spiciness of the rye and the cinnamon that kind of gives your nose a little tickle.
Right.
Yeah.
A little nose tickle.
A little nose tickle.
Oh,
Ah,
There we
tickle in
go.
the nose.
Ours hasn't been sitting out as long as yours there.
We poured it out at the same time.
they all poured at the same time.
Did they? Okay.
Yes.
I get
I'll-
grain,
I'll-
little
I'll-
spice, and ethanol.
Ralphie?
Cinnamon ethanol.
Cinnamon and ethanol.
I don't get the ethanol.
I don't get ethanol either.
I guess that's what I'm saying is the grain, like that dustiness.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm.
Okay.
That's 100%. But the nose that they're saying is that they're getting is a spiced caramel,
Okay.
ripe red fruits, ripe red fruits, crisp apple, and funnel cake. I did not get the sweetness of a funnel cake
I don't
or
get
the
the
batter.
sweetness.
That one I would have to disagree
I
on.
can get there.
Yeah, there's a big caramel.
Caramel
note.
and cinnamon notes. Yeah.
I don't get a big caramel note off the nose, but I get more on the taste profile.
Right.
So
Yeah,
It'd
that's,
be more of a black dark cherry that you would actually put in like a Manhattan or.
yeah, you're right. Like maraschino cherry.
Yeah, that I get.
I get that.
That I get.
all right, since you dove in real early.
My bad. I'll let you guys. Go.
All right,
I'll shut up.
let's
No,
taste
do,
it.
do, do your palate on this one.
All right, I'm gonna do the palate. Make sure you don't knock that bottle.
Yeah,
off in
go
the
ahead.
corner there.
Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
go-
that's
no,
fine.
we'll let you go first.
Just on the taste.
Yes. Just give us a palate on this one.
Now, see, this is what I hate when we say notes, like that's what goes in my head, right? So like
Eighth note.
now all I'm tasting is apple. Mm-hmm. Like cinnamon apple. That's all I'm tasting now. And I don't know if that's because you said it, but I'd say like still that cinnamon note's coming through. It has a burn sensation. It definitely has a Kentucky hug to it,
But it
as you know.
doesn't last very long.
No.
I mean, the heat doesn't last.
No. It definitely coats your palate though. I think.
Yeah.
So it's that's probably those 8-year barrels sit in that's doing that.
Cheesecake?
Funnel cake.
So I get the apple, but it's pretty lively on the tongue. I mean,
Lively.
the
Got that
combination,
rye,
the
got that-
the rye,
The spice.
but and you drink it and it has a little bit warm. And normally I don't like it, but I like it because it cleans up. So
It
it's
does.
a lot of flavor. I mean, it's
Complex.
This is definitely a fall like
it's
It
pretty-
is.
Yeah.
flavor
it's pretty
profile.
Big flavor. I mean, I think the rye you get a lot of the spiciness, but
Getting that apple on the
Yeah.
tongue right now.
Right.
It's kind of got like a
Kind of a long
Christmassy.
finish.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you said, it went away, but it didn't go away for me.
Still there.
Big Rob?
Yeah.
Up north?
Same, you get that apple, a lot of spice, and it kind of, yeah. Whereas normally you taste some in certain parts of the palate, this one's like the whole tongue.
Yeah.
The whole thing there's a lot going on there.
Definitely all over
Is
the
that,
place.
Is that the French staves on those?
Yes, I believe that one is.
Yeah. That's that oakiness from there, and it's got that flavor in there as well. That's yeah.
I'm surprised it doesn't have more barley in it because that's what I was thinking at the very beginning of it,
Yeah,
but it doesn't.
I thought the barley would have added a lot more.
But that may be because if it is the French staves, I get a big
It is.
I get like a big barley note from French staves, like
Yeah.
like floral.
Right.
I guess I should say, not,
Yeah, a nice
not
floral.
barley.
What do you got there, Rofi?
I'm pretty much in tune with these guys. I like the finish. I like the color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Colors, absolutely gorgeous.
I expected it more of an ethanol burn,
Mhm.
and I get very little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
was,
get really.
I was surprised that it drank as well as it did.
Greg's still trying to bounce back from the retro hail
I
earlier.
am.
Yeah.
I am. I really am.
It's warm all the way to the tummy,
Yeah.
but it's a nice aftertaste.
Yeah, it's not as sweet as I remember it being, but I do enjoy this one a lot. The spice on the rye leaves a nice peppery little burn on there. It is, like Rob said, it does envelop your whole mouth. I mean, it's not just one of these that it's hitting this part, hitting that part. The finish on this one is long, and it is spicy, and it's something that I really enjoy.
How much does a bottle of this retail for?
The bottle of this, these
$80.
normally $80 to $90. So their tasting notes, it says it's creamy mouthfeel. I don't necessarily.
I'll go with that.
It's a little thicker than most. It's good. Sweet toffee, velvety vanilla cream, and a subtle hint of smoke.
Hard to tell with the cigar.
Yeah, we're
Well,
sitting in
well,
I
smoke.
think we got that one down.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. That was the finish on it. I jumped ahead. That was my bad. But the palate on this one was sweet raspberry, toasted oak, subtle hints of Trey lychee. Yeah, it doesn't remind me of any lychee fruit I've
what?
ever had. Hawaiian lychee fruit. It's one that looks like little octopus, and a touch of cinnamon spice.
Yeah,
Well, that I would agree with at 100%.
I get more of the cinnamon.
Yeah.
I can see the creaminess
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the mouthfeel is definitely there. It's a little coating.
The
It's
first
not
time
one
I
that.
tried it, I got the oak, but that's gone away.
And I think that the note that you pulled out that we couldn't figure out
Oh,
that first night
right.
was a little bit of star anise. Is what you pulled out.
Star anise.
Yeah,
I'm not
black
familiar.
licorice.
Black
Oh
licorice.
yeah, okay.
There's just
Well,
that
they
little.
couldn't figure out. So when they
It's a subtle
when we first
afterthought.
tried this bottle as a get together, and Steve Brooks and his wife, and I tried it, and I sat there and drank it, and they were like, what do you think? And then I said, they couldn't figure out what it was.
But there was one little hint.
One little thing in there, and I said Zambuca.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
because of the black licorice.
And then Steve says, "Oh my God, you're exactly right." And then, so
Yeah.
then his wife said the same thing. Because they pretty much nailed it down.
Right.
They goes, "There's something else in there, and we just can't think of what it is." And then I come back and say, "It's like Zambuca," and then
Yeah.
black licorice and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it was very good. It was good, and it's a great bottle.
Yeah.
I can't say
Oh
anything
yeah,
about it.
I'm in love with that bottle. I really am.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of biased on that one a little bit. I do love this one. This is, and they have several other ones. There was a rye,
Correct. Correct.
and I did not even see the blue label out there. I know they put 2 versions of rye out there, and general consensus is one's not available right now, and the one is not so good.
Is it a straight rye?
I don't know anything about the rye,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
But I know that our friend Steve has a nice collection of all the bottles.
Right.
But yeah, that's where we're at with that. So I think we should hit some scores.
Hang on a second.
Oh.
Didn't you get that one of those bottles?
Did we get the red or green?
Yeah.
Oh, you bought the same
That's
red
the one
one?
everybody was going after.
Yeah,
Manaway.
yeah.
Has this stuff been out for like a while, or is it brand new?
Brand new.
It's brand new, about a year. I think Karen put it in the notes.
Their distilleries been open for a year
Uh,
or a couple years. I've never heard of it. So
yeah,
why.
that's one of the reasons why I really like it, is because it's kind of an unknown, kind of the dark horse.
Yeah, it is.
It's really kind of
Black shirt.
there. I mean, there's no.
I mean, the branding's cool.
The branding's cool, but I mean, just the fact that
The
they've
bottle's
been around in
pretty.
such a short period of time,
Yeah.
and to put out a product like this, even though it's blended,
I'm getting licorice on that right now.
yeah,
This is probably the third time I hit this glass, and now I'm kind of getting that.
Mine was like caramel, apple, cinnamon,
yeah.
fall. Maybe I got fall in the brain.
It's got that, like the dark Zambuca, and it's kind of a, it's kind of made, what was the other one, it was like nut creamy,
Mm-hmm.
like a Zambuca. That's what that is.
Right. That's where
Sorry guys, it took me a long time to get my shit together. But
Yeah.
That's okay. You're
Way to
still
go.
enjoying
Now,
it.
now I'm going to smoke this
Yeah,
cigar. whatever.
retro
I'm
hail that
smoking it right
motherfucker now.
I'm telling you, rolling it through, I went
Yeah.
smoking a cigar, and all of a sudden my sinus is all blocked up. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this cigar is pairing very well with it. I mean,
It
it's
is.
Yeah, it
really
actually
nice.
really does. Yeah, it was kind of a, unbeknownst to us, it is a good pairing.
It is a good pairing because it's a strong flavor here, and that's a strong flavor profile on that, and it pairs very well together.
Well, I
They're
think
not competing for each other.
I think the dark richness to the J.D. Howard is doing well with this.
It is.
It kind of, it's weird, but it kind of tones down that spice characteristic with the whiskey, which I find interesting. You got to be, a lot of people, I think I talked about this last time, but you got to be careful when you're really trying to come up with a pairing, because you can have, most people think if you have like a strong flavored bourbon, that you need to pair it with a strong flavored cigar, and that's not always
That's
the
true.
case.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with
you got to figure out what your base is as
Right.
far as like, am I trying to pair something with the whiskey, or are you trying to pair something with the cigar? So
At the end of the day, we'll have to try both.
yeah, that's what we're doing. I don't know, $90 is pretty steep though.
I agree.
I
I agree.
for something that's new that nobody knows about. I mean, I know there's a lot of shit
It's
that
fair.
goes into it.
Yeah.
I know stuff's expensive. I know that bottle was probably not cheap.
That's what I'm looking at is because the top is etched with their with the logo.
Yeah, it's embossed.
It's got an etching on the bottle. I mean, the label work. I mean, there was a lot that went into that. A lot of thought that went into that bottle. So
But I feel like $50 to $100 is like the new norm anymore. Like, it's
honestly,
just-
yeah, that's
I mean,
like it doesn't matter
this,
where
I
the
think-
hell it's coming from.
I think
Right.
this was $80. I think it was $80. And at the end of the day, you know, you said about, you know, a little steep, but, you know, I like the bottle, but, the difference in price would, in my head, would have been $10, and for $10, I can give a shit less.
Right.
I'll buy that bottle.
Yeah.
you do know that if you buy from Giant Eagle, you can use your reward points on liquor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't think he needs more shit, but now you've awakened the beast. Way to
How
go.
many of them damn reward points? More lettuce, more lettuce.
Yeah. Yeah, I can save money. Okay, just put more 2 bottles more.
Screw the gas guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some bourbon.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into some scores here, folks. What you thinking? Anybody want to go first? You're going to take a volunteer, or are we going to pick one at random?
What's this? How's the scoring system?
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
5 is, 4 and higher is you got to have it on your bar.
Okay.
2, you don't really like it.
Yeah.
3 is pretty much an average, and we can go with points and decimals. You don't have to go round up. Or
I mean, for me, I don't know. For me, it's a solid 3
Okay.
for this.
rookie score, but we'll take it.
Yeah, that. Well, you don't want me to say 2 because I'm not going to give it a 4.
No.
But I mean, just it. I don't know. It's the price point, man.
Right.
That's hard. That's hard for me. But I'm a cheap ass, so.
Go big or go home. That's
Rob, what you think?
Alright. Price point on a blended is a little steep, but there's a lot going on, and it's one that when you get it in your mouth, you want to lift your tongue and experience the whole thing and squeeze it through. It's very pleasant. I'm a 4.1.
Nice.
Okay.
Cheese? Just because you're next in line.
I'm a 3.8 because it's a little big for me.
Okay.
And you know, like I said, when I almost, it's got such a, it's almost a little astringent on my tongue. My tongue. You know,
Yeah, I get it.
Well, you're not a big
What
high
was
proof kind of
I'm
guy.
not a high proof guy, and I'm not a
Sure.
super big flavor guy. I like more balance, and this has a lot of flavor, though. I mean,
It is a flavor
This is
bomb.
one
It
of the
really
most
is.
Yeah.
flavorful bourbons we've had in a while. It's got everything, but it's a little big.
It's a
for,
different-
It's a little big for me.
And I think, well,
Again, like I've
We'll talk
like,
after
it,
this
it,
show.
it burns a
We'll
little
talk
like
after the
stag
show.
for me.
It's like a stag.
It burns like there's.
Oh.
It's the spiciness, but when you put it on your tongue and let it sit there, like I said, I wasn't doing anything funny.
Yeah.
My tongue is like, ouch.
See, I really like the raspberry, and it's something different.
well, maybe that's, you know, I said that like the dark cherry, you know, like, you know, for Manhattans and all that stuff. And that was probably, maybe I was off on the cherry, but at the end of the day, that's kind of related to the raspberry, so to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, red fruit.
The red fruit,
Yeah.
right?
Which is what they
So-
said.
Ralphie?
You know, I usually stay around 3, 3.1, 3.2. I'm about 3.5 on this one.
Oh my, big score from Ralph.
And that's just for the flavor, taste, you know, all that stuff. Price points would turn me off.
Right.
So for me to spend that kind of money would be tough. So for have it as a daily drinker, I would never do it. But for drinking it, I'd be sitting there going, okay, if I want to cool it down, I would have thrown a cube or some, you know.
Yeah, we didn't even
some
think
water
about
in
that.
it. But
I mean, this would weather a cube well. It's got so much flavor.
I think it's got a lot of.
It probably
flavor.
would.
I was
I think
really
you
pleasantly
might
surprised.
be right. We and you know what? We should have did that.
We'll try it off camera.
I think the coating, I call it the coating. I think it had I was really surprised when I didn't have any expectation except ethanol. So when I drank it, I was like, this is gonna burn, and I was like, I'm smoking a pretty good cigar, so I'm going, okay. And then when I had through the flavor and the after, I didn't get the high proof burn. You know, I had a little bit, but very little went away, and the coating, I caught the coating. It had a good flavor, so I was like, good. I think the points were, I think the cost of it for me would be a little bit touchy. I mean, would I have it on, people like it, if they were on more of the proof side of it, if they had a cube in it, people that were sort of more of a mellow, they'd love it. But for a blend like Rob said, I'd be like, yeah.
I just put a little water in mine, and it did what I thought it was going to do. That apple just went.
Yep.
It's just all apple.
A little bit. If you put, sometimes we put a cube in, let it marinate for a minute or two.
It almost turned into like green apple.
You'll come through, and it actually opens up sometimes for me.
Yeah.
So I'll sit there, and like the other day at our cigar night, bourbon night, I tried another bourbon. I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah.
I drank it on another night, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that happens too. Like,
so,
yeah. Sorry, I
no, it's
interrupted.
okay. So that's what the thing is too. So I would go back and revisit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
What? How long has this bottle been open for? A week.
What time did we start the show?
Oh, you opened. We opened it tonight. My bad. Yeah.
You guys went up to eat, we poured it.
It may mellow down a little bit, you know, with a couple weeks of it being open.
Well,
It was a difference in the change. I think even the heat was a lot less, so to say.
with the water, because you added water.
There was
also.
no heat, and
So,
yeah,
I mean, ethanol, but I mean, when I drank it, you get that little bit of heat.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
My
yeah.
personal opinion.
yeah, it stays.
you
Yeah.
know.
But I would also look at bourbons and whiskeys now. So I'll go to the whiskey side of it, and with cigars too, I'll sit there and look with the price point and say, okay, I'll spend that much money for certain things.
Right.
And like I think what you said was right about price, but $50 to $100 is what you're spending for good bourbons and good whiskey.
It seems like everything that's new, you know, because like they're not like well established, is like 50 to 100 anymore. I mean, look at like when Rabbit Hole came out. Rabbit
Right.
Hole was like,
Right.
Rabbit Hole was like always high to me, you know, for what it was. But you know, they sell a bunch of products. So
We got we bought the bottle Rabbit Hole for Blackened and for the show, and that was over $100, well over $100,
150, I believe.
$150.
oh really?
We paid for that bottle.
Wow.
Gee, score, please. Because you've added water, you've had the cigars, you've had a little nasal problem with the.
I did. So I'm going to be truthful.
As you should be.
My sinuses are running now. But anyway, long story short, I've had that bottle, and when you have 13 people in a room, and we're not allowed to talk and do all this other stuff that we did. You weren't allowed to talk to anybody, all this stuff, and they made you try it 3 different times, and we all came up with the same number. Everybody picked the same glass
Right.
3 times ago.
Yeah.
So I know what this bottle is. It's a great bottle, and in my opinion, 4.1, because I already know
Yeah.
what it was.
Well, obviously you bought a second bottle, so
Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
No. I'm going to go 4.2. Just one higher. Only because.
it's that amazing to you?
It is. I mean, it's. Reasons being is that little to unknown distillery.
Yeah.
Price point is a little high, but having that bottle before, having it again, it is still consistent.
Yeah.
You're exactly right about
Which
that.
is really
We're
impressive.
We're talking about a bottle from basically just shy of a year ago,
Right.
and it drinks just like that bottle.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So they're blending well.
Yeah,
is
their
what
their
you're
blending
saying.
their blending is spot on. I mean,
They know what they're
I
doing.
couldn't pull what I wanted to pull out, but I mean, what I had with Steve and Mark and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then down in Kentucky, same thing. And it was an unbelievable bottle, and and they asked, we talked about Point Portland, and we'll talk about that after the show. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that bottle's better than you think it is.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. I mean, being a $80 to $90 bottle, much to Ralph's point, not an everyday drinker.
Right.
Couple times a month, maybe, you know, every other month. But I mean, this is a solid bottle for me. Because, like I said, little to unknown distillery, just coming out in the market, hoping the price comes down a little bit. But even if it doesn't, I'm going to have a bottle on my bar pretty much all the time. It does not disappoint.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. Is it a gift bottle? It's one of them. It depends. This is going to depend on the person who I'm giving it to. I would spend the $80 to $100 on somebody that I knew that would appreciate a bottle like this. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. It would be a gifting bottle for a certain individual. So that's the reason for my scoring.
There you go.
All right, let me check the scroll one more time, see if anybody's still awake out there. We didn't bore anybody to death. Nope, we're still good. Everybody's still out there, hanging out there. So,
Okay.
I think it's time to
Call it
hit
a
the
day.
road, call it a
All right,
day.
kids. All right, kids, thank you for watching us today. I appreciate y'all. I know we're getting into the holidays. I think the first week of December will be our last show, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
first or second week.
Yeah, first or second week. But anyway, long story short, be safe out there. Till then, God bless. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Big G.
Thanks for having me on.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
Jake,
Thank
thank you,
Jake.
thank you. I'm Bourbon Bob.
Jake Sanders with Crowned Heads and Oz Family Cigars.
Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, of
Guys
course.
out in the audience, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Sounds great.
Cheers.
Peace
Cheers,
and love.
guys.
Another fine show. Great cigar pairing.
I had that Oz that was smoking to the butt. The roach was nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.